All right. We are live on Facebook and we are live in Zoom at Angels Landing Spiritual Center today. And I feel so blessed because as what was channeling through we needed today, Douglas kind of jumped in and we thought it would be really great to kind of talk with you today together. And so a lot of that has to do with what we're talking about and where we're coming from with everything. So in any case, it's spring. It's spring. Can you hear it? Can you feel it? It's definitely spring. We had May Day this weekend. And so we have all this new birth and rebirth, and the vibration is raising as the flowers are raising and the trees and everything's coming around to bring us new things. So really excited for that because it's a time that we get to feel the interconnectedness, the oneness that we have with nature and with each other, and to remember that we are all connected. And when the vibration raises like this, we get a chance to actually feel that more. And we've been struggling a little bit with that through the winter months, and in addition with the quarantine and feeling kind of alone. But now we get to start to feel that vibration and really commune with nature. On the medicine wheel, we're coming into the east. Actually, we're now in the east, okay? So we're in the east, and that side is yellow. It's the sun rising. It's eagle. Eagle medicine is coming to us. Eagle connects us to Great Spirit. We also have snake medicine, the power of transformation, shedding the old. All of this makes so much sense, the way it's just coming forth and gifting us with the opportunity to step into that space and really let that rebirth happen for us. So we're excited for that. And as we all kind of start to feel that, and I call you to really, breathe into that space, we get to manifest more. So let's just take a moment as we move forward with this talk to just kind of tap into your breath, close your eyes for a minute, and just feel the vibration of spring. Feel that energy coming up from under the ground and pushing forth new life or rebirthing life that's been there, seeds, bulbs that have been planted, and just kind of feel how that can rise up inside of you also. Just connect with your breath. At this point, I think it's great to just kind of ask that anything that's no longer serving you be easily shed with your exhale. Just letting go of the things that may have tied you up a little bit so that you can really be fully present right now and receive whatever it is the divine wants to give you right now, whatever it is your heart needs. Feel that interconnectedness between each other and with nature, with Mother Earth. If you can hear the birds, just listen. So with that presence, come back to our connectedness here, okay? And let's think about how, whether spring is coming to us in a gentle way, or if it's really bursting open a seed and it's just feeling a little rocky, just leave an open space to let it land there. Just be open to letting that happen. The element in the east of the medicine wheel is air. And so we're coming into that air space, creating space. The word space is just extremely powerful in and of itself. And so we're kind of coming out of that introspection and opening ourselves up to what's outside of us. And we get to manifest all the stuff through the winter that we've been kind of working through. Winter, whatever we were working on internally, okay? Sometimes we need to clear the spaces for that to come out. So what are you doing to create this air space to be sacred for you? At this time of year, I think that we did a lot of gardening yesterday.
We did.
So yeah, and the first thing that happens is clearing. Like I couldn't plant new bulbs or do anything without clearing out the old. And so there was a lot of debris and stuff to clear out in order to make the garden pretty again and kind of, do whatever it was it wanted to do. Not necessarily what we wanted it to do, but what it wanted to do. And so that's kind of creating that sacredness outside, just paying attention to Mother Earth, paying attention to the garden, to the lawn, to whatever is kind of coming up and what it wants to be. So cleaning up and planting is all part of this. And so we were talking about that, right? And that's kind of how our conversation turned into having Doug join us today.
Well, if I remember correctly, it was the conversation of taking out trash.
Oh, okay.
And how I failed to do that Friday after several reminders. And then I was reminded once more on Saturday. And so I took out the trash on Saturday.
So the gardening and the trash, it kind of all came together. And we'll touch base on that a little bit after we talk more about being outside. So what kind of sacred practice can we have outside? So we're going to move from outside to inside and kind of talk about how this energy of rebirth happens. So the easy thing is to see the outside, right? So when we're outside, we see that birth happening. We see all the new buds. We see all the new growth. And we have, if we can, some responsibility to clean and allow that to come forth. And when you can't do those things, there are still wonderful practices to have outside. So whether you can take a walk, there's the formal forest bathing, which is wonderful just to be able to walk in the park, walk in your neighborhood, but do it in a mindful way where you're really inviting nature to revitalize you. There's also earthing. That's a wonderful practice. Get your shoes and socks off and get a chair outside and just sit with your feet on the grass, on the earth, not on the concrete, not on the patio, like get to the ground and put your feet down. And the vibration is amazing. Even just for 5 minutes a day, it helps rebalance a lot of energy in your body. So that's a wonderful sacred practice. And then we kind of move inside for spring cleaning, right? And this has been a great time. A lot of people have started that even a little early with the shelter at home. So, cleaning out the closets, cleaning out those miscellaneous drawers, reorganizing and getting rid of things. What's really important though is not only to do that spring cleaning, but to do it in a mindful way that allows you to reset your space in a sacred manner. So recognizing that the air, that the space in your house, in your home, in your apartment, wherever it is that you live, if you even just have a room in someone else's house, that space is a place that you can make sacred. And this is a good time to rebirth that and to kind of clear it out and clean it out with that mindfulness that this is a place that you connect with the divine inside of you. So creating that, especially during a quarantine, allows you to stay clearer from the stresses of the community. And that's also about kind of what you take in from outside, what you watch, how much of it you watch, what you listen to, how does it feed you? How does your space feed you? So that's a piece that comes with that east side of the medicine wheel as well. And then there's the going inside. And that was an interesting conversation and topic that came up with taking out the trash.
Yeah. So as it tends to work out, prior to Sunday, Deborah talks to me about what she may or may not talk about on Sunday. And so she's like, what's a topic that we could really kind of talk about? And I was like, this is right after I took out the trash after being reminded on Saturday again. And I said, well, what about just taking out the trash? And she kind of scoffed at me, but I'm like, seriously, it's not just like a cute thing that I did because I just did the thing you asked me to. It was actually a serious thing where, making sure that you have your space is clean, not just physically. I mean, obviously you don't want trash piling up in your home, but inside your own mind. And what does that mean? What does that look like? And, we talked about it a little bit, but one of the things that I expressed to her that she liked and wanted me to kind of share was this idea of cleaning and the internal dialogue. What does it mean to have inside your own mind a clean space and taking out that trash? And so
that mental piece.
Yeah, that mental piece. And so for me, it was, I told her a story when we were dating. I was working on.
Go ahead.
I was working on a couple of just self-care pieces of cleaning. If I'm cleaning up the house, and I'm just badgering myself, saying, "Oh my God, I left the dishes all week, and now I'm cleaning it up, and I should dust more." And I'm lazy. I'm an SOB. Oh no. That's not really healthy. And there's a lot of trash mental dialogue going on, as opposed to if I was cleaning up and saying, oh God, I deserve a clean place. I deserve to have clean dishes, to take care of this space. A person looking in the window while I'm doing that is going to see me cleaning and taking out the trash regardless. But there's a very different mental landscape of what I'm saying to myself as I do that. And also that mental piece of taking out the trash, old paradigms, old assumptions about ourselves that, no longer serve us, getting rid of those things. That's a very important, and unfortunately in my experience, it's been an ongoing process. No matter how much trash I take out of my mental landscape in my own mind, there seems to be more.
I think that's true for everybody. We all have our old dialogues playing in our head that are damaging, and it takes a lot of concentration and mindfulness to shift that. Yeah. And we beat ourselves up over it sometimes when we feel like we should know better. Right? So what works for you? How do you take out that mental trash?
Well, it doesn't hurt that I have a wonderful wife that helps me, especially if any of those internal monologues slip out, I get corrected. I'm just joking.
No, what works for you individually, personally? How do you shift from that place to leave a clean space to plant new seeds, to plant new thoughts?
It kind of comes down to, for me personally, just awareness. And I know I cultivate that through just mindfulness and meditative practice. That really kind of helps me stay aware of what's going on in my own head, as opposed to just having a constant thought stream that I'm not really paying attention to. But more to the point, I use touch points. So I try and ground with where I'm at right now through my 5 senses, and using that to anchor in the moment, and just kind of train myself to cue in to those senses, be in the moment. And then when I do that, I take a kind of stock of what am I thinking? What am I telling myself? What am I thinking about what's going on right now? And when I just come back to the moment, it's easier to do that, where, I'm not in middle school on the playground getting, falling off the monkey bars and everyone laughing at me. Or I'm not thinking in the future, like, oh my God, like the stock market, is it ever going to come back? Like, where's my money gone? Um, those are all thoughts that kind of consume me. But when I come back to the moment, none of that's real now. And so it's easier for me to kind of sift through like, oh, well, so now I'm having thoughts of the future in the past. And are those really healthy? And then that's like, oh no, those aren't. And then how I can then choose to do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
Take out the trash.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes I take
It's
out
a clearing. So that's also in the Ayurvedic tradition, is to, when you're making changes to be healthier in mind, body, and spirit, to really engage your senses to do so. So when you're able to mindfully ignite, how things smell differently, how things taste differently, how things feel differently, what am I hearing? And so that's why it's really important to, excuse me, figure out, what is your diet? What are you inputting into your body? Because that's what's programming your mind. And so, especially when we're in heightened places of stress, it's important to look at how do we process violence? How do we process triggers that stress us? How do we process trauma? And how do we use that in our mind to grow? So when we don't process it out, then we're stuck there. And that's where we create our suffering. But when we can, take it all in through our senses and stay very mindful of it and sit with it, be with it. It may not move and shift out of us quickly, but when we can just be with it and acknowledge it, it does eventually sink through us and kind of keep going. So to recognize, what are you bringing in that's creating any sort of trash, as we're talking about, in our mind, or things that need to be cleared. That might even be better. What needs to be cleared out of my mind so that I make room for this new spring rebirth? All the introspection that we've been going through for the last 4 weeks of service, now's the time that this can really, take root and blossom. We've been planting seeds or planting bulbs. We've been rooting it all down. Now it's time for the energy to go in the other direction. Spring pulls you up and out. So we've been down here, we've been growing, we've been reprogramming, and now we're going to blossom. Now we're going to come out, and this energy of rebirth comes up. And it's very powerful if you engage with it. So that's the trick, the gift in all of this, the gift that, every Sunday I try to bring up a topic and then figure out where the gift is, and then bring the practice that can come with it that benefits us and helps us. The gift is rebirth. The gift is given everywhere by the divine, by Mother Earth, but we actually have to choose it and engage with it for it to become our personalized gift.
Mm. So what you were saying there, it kind of goes along with the question of like, how do I discern, or how do I take out the trash in my own mind? The feelings of the thoughts that we have, I don't think I need to expound to anyone here that like having a negative thought or something that's really just not beneficial, it's heavy. Like it weighs on your mind, at least in me, in my body as well. But having those beneficial thoughts, those things that serve me, feel uplifting, give me joy. It's like that, like what you just cited, or what you described. It's uplifting, up. You can feel it in your body, in your mind. And so when I do have those lucid moments of self reflection, which is not always, unfortunately, taking appraisal of how those thoughts make me feel, just in my own mental landscape, in my body. Do they give me life? Do they give me joy? Am I like, oh my God, the stock market?
And recognizing what to believe and what not to believe, right? So over half the time, our thoughts aren't true, and they're creating emotions if we're letting our emotional self drive our truck, we're going to be all over the place. And so to cultivate that mindfulness, you know, the Native Americans, their spirituality grew being in nature, because it's a place with that forest bathing, with that earthing, where you can really tap into the virtual energy web that's out there that gives you this peace that you bring into your body, so that you have the equanimity to recognize what comes in and out, what to believe, what to engage with, and what to let just pass by in your mind, in your life. You know, everything that you're seeing, touching, feeling, hearing, tasting, you know, what is it telling me, and what am I going to do with that in a mindful way? And so when we clear those things, we allow this spring rebirth to come through. And that's, you know, the space that we grow in a way that reaches for the sun, that warms us, that feels good. Sometimes that growth can be painful if we're in the stage of a new lesson where we've been seeded and that seed is breaking open and turning inside out in order to sprout. That's the dark night of the soul. That can be a really painful place to be if that's your spring. Bows to it, hang in there. Make sure you nurture yourself with water. You know, water yourself, that spirit, that's your spirituality, that's staying connected to the divine. Make sure you nurture yourself with fertilizer, you know, making sure that you give yourself the nutrients that helps you through that space. And then many of us are just rebirthing what we already have and letting go and shedding the old, and, you know, kind of growing to the warmth of the sun. And that feels good. And we've all been suffering a lot, or we've all been in some form of pain in the last few months, from what I gather, what I feel, what I hear. And so with that, you know, it's time to exhale. It's time to just rest, take in that sun, and let yourself grow, and just enjoy the uplifting of spring. Let her just give you and shower you this easy way of being, like the sun rising, like the eagle soaring, like the snake moving out of its old skin. This is the east side of the medicine wheel. Welcome to it. So I have a song that I want to share with you guys. A very dear friend of ours from the Buddhist temple is a musician, and he wrote this song and shared it the other day. I reached out to him and said, I'd really love to share this with our family at Angel's Landing. So it's called Still. It's by Kaishin, Rob Bondi, and he is, he's in Canada, and he gave me permission to share this. And it's a really beautiful lyrics. Hopefully you're able to tune into the lyrics.
He does not have a funny accent.
All right, so close your eyes and let this be a meditation song for you. And from there, I'll move into a meditation space for us. So enjoy Still.
Settle down, settle in, and rest that weary mind. Be still, we're about to begin. It should only take a lifetime. The parade is passing you by. Just let it do its thing. Look inside and see your own mind, no matter what it may bring. The world is speaking to you, but how can you hear when you're screaming inside? Alone in the silence, right here in the light. speaking to you, but how can you hear when you're screaming inside? Alone in the silence, right here in the light. Where can you hide? The world is speaking to you, but how can you hear when you're screaming inside? Alone in the silence, right here in the light. Where can you hide? Settle down, settle in, and rest that weary mind. Be still, we're about to begin. It should only take a lifetime.
So, feel your breath. Tap into your own stillness. And as you inhale, invite in the vibration from Mother Earth, that spring energy to lift up through your feet, through your legs, through your body, up through your mind, and right out your crown chakra. Feel your interconnectedness with all of nature. Feel your oneness with all of the human race. As you listen to what's around you, invite it in mindfully as sacred. As you see the darkness of your eyelids, invite that in as sacred. As you taste whatever the last thing you ate or drank was, invite that in as sacred. Whatever you smell, whatever you feel, inviting it in mindfully as sacred. Letting it lift you, bring you new life, renewed life, new birth energy. Inviting in the yellow of the sunrise, inviting in your own connection to transformation. Thinking of your favorite flower or plant. Allowing yourself to rise, reaching for the warmth of the sun. And recognizing that you are the sun for others, that you provide that warmth and that love when you show compassion to others. Recognizing that you are a unique expression of the divine, that you are that for yourself and for others. And that feeling the vibration of spring around you is also feeling yourself, your own energy, awakening it. clearing out the trash, clearing out that which holds you back. With every exhale, letting it go. Take a few more deep breaths in and then come back to the room. Recognizing that everything around you is sacred. Create that space and that air around you to support you, to embrace you, and to help you live in a sacred manner, feeling the oneness and the connectedness you have with the spring energy. So with that, I opened the 4 directions in my medicine bundle before we started. But guides are telling me it's time to smudge again, okay? So offering all of you the vibration of this cleansing to help you release and relinquish from your mind, your body, your heart, your soul, from your space, from your home, anything and everything that no longer serves your renewal, your rebirth on the east side of the medicine wheel this spring. Just take that in. Now from your heart space, offer this to every soul you encounter. Be true to yourself. Be true to your divine expression. Aho.